In this walkthrough, I'm going to show you how to use Spice.ai's AI SQL function to call large language models directly from SQL with no extra APIs. We'll configure a model, run the AI SQL function in simple queries and over tables, and see how Spice executes calls in parallel to keep things fast. I have the cookbook recipe open so you can follow along. It will also be linked in the description. Before we begin, you're going to want to make sure we have an API key from OpenAI. First, we're going to clone the cookbook and then navigate to the directory. Once this is done, we're going to create an environment file with our OpenAI API key. I'm going to do it by using the echo command, but you can use any of the various options within the cookbook. Now I've created the environment file and had my API key in it. I'm going to start Spice by entering Spice run into my terminal. Once the runtime is loaded, we can start a Spice SQL REPL in a new terminal. So the first example, we're going to query the AI to say hello to us in a creative way. And you can see the output from that prompt. And then I'm going to go through a few more specific example queries. So we can do simple text generation, where we're asking the AI a question such as, what is the capital of France? We can categorize data. This example is going to show New York City taxi zones. So here you can see that all the taxi zones have been categorized. Another use case would be sentiment analysis. So if you had customer feedback, you could analyze that. We can do data enrichment. So I'll have the AI generate descriptions for locations of the taxi zones in the different boroughs. So here we can see the one-sentence description of the borough we selected, Manhattan, from the taxi zones dataset. Another really cool example would be using multiple models. So you could connect another model such as Sonnet with ChatGPT for the same prompt. You can also do translations, and so text from different languages. I'll show you this example. So now we have the sentences describing the boroughs from our taxi trip translated into different languages. The recipe goes into understanding of the configuration a little bit for how you could set up other models and how you can create your own prompt. This example goes into parallel processing. So the AI function will execute asynchronously. So you can query multiple rows while Spice processes the AI calls in parallel for better performance. So I can show you how this would work. This example is going to process 10 AI calls in parallel. And once it loads, you can see all of the responses generated in parallel in just 6 seconds. There's a few limits on this, such as minimum batch size or message size. And then there's a few advanced usage examples like task history, where every AI call is going to be tracked in the runtime task history. You can also combine it with other functions. So the AI will work with SQL. If you wanted to have all uppercase for your AI greeting, you can enter in the select uppercase AI response command, and you'll see that the table titled loud greeting has the answer in caps. And then there's some more information about using different model providers and what you would enter into your SpicePod YAML file. And then you would make sure to reference what model you wanted to use for each query specifically if you did connect multiple models. So there's a lot of real-world use cases. A few of them are data cleaning, translation, search enhancement, summarization. So that's the AI SQL function in action, a quick overview of where all your data lives with parallel execution, multi-model support, and full SQL composability. You can use the cookbook to just copy the queries and experiment with different language models. You can also adapt the prompts to your data using the guides in the cookbook. And you can go further checking out the text to SQL and embedding recipes next. Thank you so much for watching.